Where?
It just popped up. YouTube.
I have...
It says waiting for Admiral Jansen.
No, what am I...
Welcome
Wait,
to the
why-
9 o'clock news.
Oh, hey, there it is. Okay.
I got nothing.
Aha!
Oh, there it is.
Oh, what is that beautiful faction ship I see that I'm jealous of because I don't have it?
This one? I guess you... Hang on, give me a minute for my cursor to go down.
Alright, buddy.
Oh, I hear the minute echo.
Hi. You.
Awesome, Butterlight. How are you doing today? So we are actually just going to get started here, and we got a group of people on chat today, and I will introduce them very shortly here.
Awesome Butterlight. Ah, crap.
So as you can probably hear them in the background.
We are actually just gonna get...
Also unrelated, but thank you for making your chat channel a picture of Goose from Captain Marvel. That makes me very...
I thought you would like that, Tilly.
I
So-
do. I love it.
So Sean is here, so I'm not sure if we can raid that UFO base right anymore.
I declare shenanigans on that statement.
And how is everyone enjoying this lovely mining event?
It's all right, I guess. I'm using it to stock up on like trit and steel because I'm attempting to get up to. Oh, I'm really reverby, evidently. Let me investigate that. Because I'm talking into my phone and sitting in front of my laptop, so I may be getting picked up twice. So. Investigation time.
Let me try something here.
Thanks for that explanation that nobody wanted.
I'm sorry. I have a habit of out loud. Well, I mean, everybody talks out loud, but like to myself.
Whatever you're on, you need to up or down it.
Let me try and see if that helps. I don't think I have my like.
All right,
mic
guys.
set.
Tell me whose audio is echoey. Tilly, can you go ahead and say something right now?
Sure. What would you like me to say?
Riker, go ahead and say something.
Good evening, YouTube.
Bundy, go ahead and say something.
It sure is warm in Canada today.
Said no one ever.
Is everyone echoing through? Because I don't hear an echo on my side.
I don't hear an echo.
No echo.
I didn't hear an echo, but according to Butterlight, my audio is better now.
Okay,
I
perfect.
lowered.
I heard no echo, but a lot to Delta.
All right. So, who we have on the stream tonight?
Oh, we're all echoing, evidently.
They're all echoing.
Except for Jansen.
My audio is perfect.
Let's see here.
Ooh, somebody did a line.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we have Riker, we have
Hello.
Tilly,
Hello.
we have Bundy,
Hello.
and we have Ducats.
What's up?
And we may get a surprise visit by the #1 player on our server. I wanted to get everyone here. Oh, shoot. Let's see. 1 second here. I wanted to get everyone here on voice comms tonight, just to kind of play around with it. As you guys know, by watching the previous stream, this is all brand new. I am definitely learning as I go, and this was definitely a learning process as well. And so, wanted to get a very, very good group of solid players who come from free to play to all the way to spender, to people that had faction ships, so that if anyone had any questions from anyone, they could definitely answer those questions. Feel free to put any questions in the chat that you guys might have. They all use different crew setups. They're all at different places of learning, but they are all really good players in the game. So I wanted them to join in for that. I also wanted them to join in for a little base raid action that we're going to be doing here. And I'm not sure who we're going to hit, especially since it's a mining event. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Let's see, I am just moving my miners. Let's go. Yes. So, as far as the mining event is concerned, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I really want it to go away, and I never want to do another mining event again. They're so incredibly boring. What do you guys think?
I thought our last event was awesome. This one's. But I love shooting lost house.
Bundy, are you not speaking into your mic?
I sure am.
You are.
You bet I am.
What about you, Tilly? Do you like mining events?
It depends. Most of the time, it's almost impossible for me to get my fed dailies done because it's just like kill or be killed. So I tend to use that time to either sit at home and admire the beautiful pictures on the walls of my face, or mine any steel or titanium that happens to be around
And
close by.
and you're level? Are you level 24 now?
Yes, as of yesterday.
Awesome. But you don't have your Kamari yet.
No.
You were telling
I'm
me.
aware.
Not today, Space Pope.
Yep, currently, 1 day, 6 hours until my shipyard gets to be level 23. So we'll see how much more it wants me to do before it'll let me build the Kumari.
What about Riker? What do you think of mining events?
Not a huge fan.
So, here's my biggest issue with mining events, and this has always been my gripe with mining events. And forgive me if what I'm saying is going a little slow with the video, because I can see the delay. However, when it comes to the solo leaderboards, and the first tier is, for me, is 500k par, 25k titanium, and 5,000 dilithium. That will do nothing for me. That won't even fix like a tenth of my hull, unfortunately. So if we look at the second tier, and there's a 1,000,000 par steel token, that's okay. 50,000 titanium and 5,000 dilithium. That still does nothing for me. And third tier is 50k titanium 5,000 dilithium, another par steel token. Does nothing for me. And keep in mind, these tiers take me the full 3 days, and I'll be lucky if I can hit that 4th tier. And even that 4th tier with 2 Trit tokens and 1 dilithium token, for the amount of work that people put into this by, just doing it for 3 days long and just sitting through mining, and that's all you're doing. Because for me, it takes all 4 ships to hit all 4 tiers. And I'm sure it's probably the same for people who have 3 ships. It takes all 3 ships mining your G3 materials. It's definitely not worth it for me.
The 4th tier, that's a killer.
Yeah, that 4th tier I actually haven't been able to hit, because what I'll do is I'll keep 1 ship out to kind of rotate the nodes so the other ships can go back and drop off. And doing that, I can't hit that 4th tier. I don't know what your guys' experience is like, especially for like players like Tilly and Riker, who are a little bit lower than me, Bundy, and Ducat. How is the mining event rewards for you?
I actually have the same exact rewards as you. It's not, even with the last event, I still have a bunch of tokens left over. I'd have to mine 24/7 in order to even hit that last tier at that point.
And so, go ahead.
I'm checking. I
My
don't
last-
get a 1 million par steel token until I hit the 3rd tier.
Womp womp.
Yeah. And it's been a while since I've actually bothered to try and get a G3 node for a mining event, because the last couple times I did it, I was pretty much killed within an hour. And it was just costing me more to repair than I was gaining.
And that's important, though. An event should never cost you 3 minutes.
What about you, Ducat? How do you feel about the mining event?
They're okay. I'm not overly excited about it. And the fact that we keep getting hit with a mining event like every other event is just really getting tiring.
So, I think what the problem is when it comes to the mining event is, as you guys have noticed, whether or not you participated in the last couple events, the rewards were so amazing. They were so great. I think I have 26 new crew members to tier up now, because I hit all 3 factions every day. Max those rewards. That was great in the event before with the Separatist bosses. I got so much titanium and dilithium from it, and that was really good. Scopely really responded to the player base and said, okay, we'll increase these rewards and make that available. I do think that they released the crew shards because they are getting ready to release a whole new group of crew members, which is really cool. But at the same time, I don't think they've kept some events up to par with what where they're taking other events. So when it comes to an event like this, even the Alliance leaderboard is Chang, T'Pring, and Alliance credits. I think I have over 7,000 Alliance credits, because I just spend 50 a day on a relocation token, and that's all I do, because I have so many shields. And honestly, my T'Pring is really high. In order for me to tier her up again, I have to probably use, Federation units or whatever she is. Chang, I don't like him in battle. I don't like his abilities. The Latinum's cool, but for a 3-day mining event, it's just not up to par with where their other events currently are. And Butterlight says, mining event rewards are not great, but the bonus refinery is absolutely essential for free-to-play players. If mining events once a month are what free-to-play players have to put up with for a bonus refine, it's worth it in my opinion. And that's a really, really good point that you made, because that bonus refinery is something we all need. We all need that bonus refinery, because how many days do you go through where all you get is is common refines. Like,
Too many days.
and that's like the worst thing is like when you're just stuck on it and that bonus refinery. That's a really good point, and I didn't think about that, Butterlight.
Although it should not give me half as much good stuff as it did the last time we had a bonus refinery.
Mhm.
I didn't get a single rare piece of anything the entire time.
That's because you didn't swipe left.
Well, and that's the thing is from the last bonus refinery, I got a whole bunch of rare, and with faction ships, I need a ton of uncommon, a super ton. So that is the thing to think about. So I think that the mining event and the bonus refinery are great, but they really need to take a look at where this event is and increase the rewards accordingly to what a lot of players need. What I was saying earlier in chat with the other content creators is that the last two events have really drained titanium and dilithium because we had so many ship repairs and we have had to use so many speed ups to repair our ships to get back out there and complete events. That is something when you do a mining event, you really need to offer those kind of rewards and a lot of it so that people like free-to-play players can go into the next PvE event, can go into the next PvP event, make it more interesting because you have more people engaging. And one of the other content creators was just talking about the issue of the repair speed-ups. And you can check out his video. He's I'm sure most of you know Reb Deuce. But he was talking about basically, liking that video as much and taking a look at it. But I have to agree with him. I think, honestly, I don't remember there ever being a memo about our repair times. Like, we all did research on repair times. And all of a sudden, all of that was zeroed out, and we had full repair times we had to do. Did I miss a memo where Scopely said, this is the reason for that? If they're...
I think it's set up during the Con Augments event,
Yeah.
and then they're like, this is the new normal.
And there
I
was...
thought the whole repair thing was that before the con release, it was bugged. And so they sped it up to where it should have been, and then they released the fix after the con event, and it was screwed up, and they went, oops, oh well.
Right. And so that con speed up was even faster than it was traditionally. But at the same time, people need to be given a lot more speed ups if that is going to stay broken permanently. And if it's going to be a dramatic shift of, we're not going to be using the research that people put their resources into to speed up that repair time, then those players need to get refunded those resources that they put into that research. Because in many other games, I'll use, for instance, Marvel Contest of Champions, whenever they modified masteries, which is similar to the research, and they would remove something or change something, they would refund everything back to the player, and if it was changed, they would allow the player to buy back into it if they chose to do that, based on the change. And so I think that is something that Scopely could definitely take a page from and say, okay, we changed it, we know that, but we're going to give you back your resources, and you can opt in to, doing whatever you want to do, but here are those resources back. I think that's ultimately the biggest issue on this game is resources. We never have enough. We are always out. And especially when you get to the level like where Bundy is, he's level 30, where I am at level 28, where Ducat is at level 28. It's definitely a challenge. I mean, I want to show you guys this. I did a, let's see here. I did a station upgrade, so I am currently upgrading my defense technology building. It was 6.6 million par steel. Clean me out. I'm down to 261,000 par steel. So now I have to wait for my generators to come back up to the 4.2 million, which my station will hold. And in the meantime, I do my elite package, which gives me 1 million par steel a day. And hopefully I can find a station to upgrade with about 6 or 7 million par steel by stuff I've saved up. And that's ultimately what the game is coming to, is you have to spend so much to basically just stay on par. So those free-to-play players, and I'm definitely not one of them, I've definitely have spent thousands on this game. Easily. Tilly's snickering.
That was me, actually.
Oh, was it? Easily $2,000 on this game to get to...
Oh, there we go. It would be helpful even to just speed up the time between being able to refine things.
True. That would be another big hit, because I don't think it's asking too much for you to refine three times a day.
Right.
Or you
and
could buy the Scopely repair
now
for
it's like
$99.
you don't sleep,
Right.
like you can't refine 3 times a day.
And let's talk about these packages that they're offering right now.
Oh, there are new packages?
Yeah, the mining pack.
The mining packages.
Oh.
I was like, what is this? Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, huh.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice these before just now.
Yeah. I'm like,
You failed, Tilly. Go home.
I did.
why do I want common miners when mine are maxed? Or Barote or T'Pring or Stone, since it's pretty easy to get those shards regularly. And if we take a look at the $50 package, they're giving up more crew shards, and I just got so many of them from the last event. This is kind of where Scopely is missing the mark again. In these packages, if there would have been uncommon, par steel, titanium, dilithium, and it would have been a really good amount for the discounted amount of $50, you would have had people buying these left and right. Because there was bonus, because there was stone shards, there was recruit tokens, as well as a whole bunch of other resources that people can use to level up their stations at a really discounted price because it's a special pack. You would have so many people buying these up. I don't see people buying these. Oh, and you can buy a North Star again. And I'm sorry, but by this time, the North Star should be a free-to-play event. You should be able to earn your North Star for free, just like the jellyfish, unless you're about, under level 20. If you're over level 20, you should be able to earn a free jellyfish if you don't have one. There is no reason, because you don't need the jellyfish after level 20. And honestly, if you get a North Star, you're going to be dumping a lot of resources to get that thing anywhere.
A lot.
I actually found that in this last event, there was a lot of not Stom shards. Like, I got a lot of Pring and a lot of the Borat. I don't know if that's the name of it. Got a lot of the Borat shards, but Stom, not so much. It's kind of stingy of mine.
I'll say, as a most free-to-play player, I've probably thrown $50 at the game so far. As I was leveling up, I never got a jellyfish. I ended up getting like 75% of the way towards the North Star, bought the last 20 pieces, and it really became my most powerful ship before I got the Voclus. It was 10 times more powerful than my Turris. And it was, its mining space is minuscule, but to use it as a battering ram, it does a great job.
And that's did I interrupt somebody? And that's a really good point. The North Star it's funny because it plays as a battering ram for lower level players, but as you grow into the game and you grow into level 30, it really becomes your first ship that can hit warp 40 space, and so it can actually complete a lot of missions for you, and it can get into that warp 40 mining systems as well. So it's really a multifunctional ship. It's a really great ship. A lot of people don't like it because it has a very small cargo capacity, very small protected capacity, but it does have great utility in that it can be a warship. I know when I first got mine, I did scare people off with my North Star because I had leveled it up to like 150k, and at that time I think I had a Voclus. So it is a really effective warship to have, but I think at this stage in the game, it should definitely be a free-to-play mission that you can definitely earn that ship. And I think that's ultimately one of the problems, is that Scopely is not identifying that correctly. If they are offering a jellyfish pack to players over level 20, it literally makes no sense. It makes no sense for them to get that ship anymore, unless they want it. They want to see it. It looks pretty. The thing spins around really fast. It's cool. Spock had it in Star Trek. Great.
I actually did find a use for the jelly after 20 for a little bit there. Not anymore, but after 20, because it does have a larger cargo capacity than the other ships at that level, so it was good for hitting OTL miners,
and
even the occasional base raid.
And it can handle Akara pretty well.
Yeah.
I also used it as like when it came to switch out ships on nodes, I'd send it and hold the place because it would be less likely to get hit than like a battleship, which even though the battleship has more room, the people see non-mining ships and go, oh, that's going to have like a 0 protected cargo, I'm going to hit that. And I had leveled it up enough that the 4 minutes or so it would take me to go home and come back, that the North Star would hold the spot, and it was strong enough that anybody who thought about hitting it once it went OTL would probably think twice.
Exactly. And I think that kind of leads me into my next point is, I am like begging Scopely to release much more Tritanium, much more Dilithium every chance I get, because I think there's this assumption that there's enough of that in bases that can be raided. And I want to hear everyone's opinion on that. Do you think there's enough raidable cargo in stations to get what you need for Tritanium and Dilithium?
No.
I think it's kind of hard to gauge because what we see when we scan the bases is not what you're going to get. So it's like, it shows you what they have, not what you can get out of the thing with protections.
And I definitely agree with that. I think at this stage in the game, because the next update that's coming out, and I'm not sure when it's coming out, I think in the next couple of days or so, they said that they are going to fix the alert function, the push notification function, about being raided and whatnot. But at this stage in the game, at least on our server, everyone knows how to shield. Everyone is constantly shield. If they're not, they will shield after you hit them. And the bases that have those resources, you're going to spend a lot of resources just to get into that base if you can catch them off guard. And
yeah, they're normally online like all.
And I mean, ultimately, I don't think those resources should be issued in tokens. I think some should, but the majority of it should be just given, flat out, whatever kind of events or whatnot, so that it livens up the rating perspective of the game, because that is drying out really fast. I think on our server, what's really brought it back to life was the influx of new players. I think our server has done incredibly well with welcoming those new players in, showing them the ropes, and really getting them on board on how to protect themselves.
DKs.
They also
And I mean, yeah,
like to play a pirate game.
Right. It did take. I lost count of how many times I was like, okay, so this is how you check your protected cargo limit. But I will happily give that spiel 1,000,000 times if it means that we are all happy and follow the same rules that generally equate to be a good person, don't be super rude. And it's also nice because the lower level players can now start playing the game with the knowledge that we didn't have when we started. Like, level everything before you hit 15.
I agree.
I mean, I will say I am really happy that we have all these new players because our server was dying and getting very stale very, very quickly. And,
I totally agree.
yeah, and we were losing players faster than, I mean, the drop-off of players was unbelievably high. And all these new players are very feisty and brings in new excitement.
You say excitement, I see agita.
Well, half of my alliance, for those of you listening, I am not THR.
Boo.
I'm sorry.
Not yet.
I love you all. I'm the Commodore for Hugs. So half of our players were people who came in with the new round, and I am so proud of them to see how far they've come, how much they've learned, how helpful they're becoming, teaching each other even at this point. I'll go to answer a question, and one of the new people will beat me to it. And I just sit here like a proud mama duck going, oh my god, look, you guys are amazing and wonderful.
Affleck.
Yes, exactly, Affleck.
Hey, Jansen, can you do me a favor and clear out your items that is bugging that you know one out of me?
What item?
Your 34 items there? Yeah.
Oh no, I can't
Yeah.
do that. You have to open your crates at 50
Why?
Oh, why?
because that's the best drop rates for items. I hope you guys know that.
No.
I didn't
Oh
know
my
that.
god. Never ever open anything less than 50.
I'm OCD.
So
as soon as I see that
That's
number,
how you
it's
get the
gotta go.
blueprints, Ducat.
Are you serious?
Yes!
That's
Then
their shenanigans.
Seriously!
I got one Horizon blueprint, my first ever, and I was so utterly excited. I was like, "Oh my god, it's
Hey
happening!"
Tilly, you want to know the bad news?
What?
So, you can collect Horizon blueprints before you get the Horizon, but guess what happens when you unlock the Horizon?
Yeah, you automatically
You get them
them.
all.
You use
Yeah.
all those up.
I know.
So a couple of questions from YouTube here, guys. Is let me so Sean, and I know this Sean is from UFO. Sean says agreed about the North Star, about what we were talking about that, and Butterlight says the answer to whether there is enough to raid is probably highly server dependent, and I agree with you on that, Butterlight. I think depending on the server, there's lots of resources to get, because I think I've watched the Scopely Discord chat, and people talk about bugs I've never heard of before, or people talk about events I've never heard of before. But I honestly think the event piece is starting to become the same across servers. And Sean says, are they adding a sound system to go with the big screen as well with the update?
Don't go down to your station.
And
Yeah, it's
Crow-
gonna be a 4K 3D TV.
Crow from Hugs says, hey now Jansen, she's all mine. So that is Tilly's Admiral chiming in.
That's boss. Although he tells me really I'm the boss, and I don't believe him.
And Butterlight is challenging me on the 50. He says, in my opinion, opening 50 to get the best drop rate is a myth. Sorry, Jansen, LOL. Will change my opinion if evidence is provided. So, okay. So, like, when it comes to gaming, so in the previous game that I played for over 4 years, there were crystals you spin, and it was like a lottery system, and you're like, oh my god, am I going to get the right champion I want at the right level I want? And so when it comes to that, there were like so many videos done on where you drop the crystal from on the screen, when you tap it. There is like all this mathematics figured into it. So when it came to these crates, I found out personally myself, take it for whatever you want, the drop rates were better at 50 crates when you open them. People
I
on
wouldn't believe that because when you redeem officer token,
right, people
if you-
on the server on the Discord's on the Scopely Discord, they will go back and forth about this. I have no scientific proof to back up my claim, but I am very big on the 50 crates at a time. Just like I'm very big on opening. Let me show you here. Well, I gotta go.
I think it's just a larger sample size. I don't think it
Yeah,
affects the drop rates
like the
at all.
premium recruits. I only open when I have 1,500. So when I have 10 packs, I only open that. And ultra recruits, I only open when I have 4,000.
well, that's true because if you look at each like the bigger bundles, each bundle in the set gives you one more thing in it than the previous one.
Right.
So that actually, which took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out. 'Cause I was like, oh, I have 20 pieces. I will open 20 regular recruits. And then I waited until I got to 100 and I was like, wait, my first box has 4, my second box has 5? What?
I gotta agree with Butterlight. He's got the right idea right there.
And of course, Riker would disagree with me on this. Riker is my EXO and Commodore, and usually disagrees with me on everything, which is awesome about him.
Yes, tell me more about me. I like this.
He also states that Butterlight also states that another very common myth is that doing 2 or 3 batch refines provides better drop rates. And he says the myth arises from a psychological bias. And I will tell you again, I only do 2. Because I know when I do 1, I get common. When I do 2, and Butterlight's going to love this one. When I do 2, I have a good chance of getting uncommon. But what I even do on top of that is I will open up the one that I really need uncommon of first or last, depending on my mood. Out of the
Well,
3.
you're also higher level, so my refinery for level 3 or 3-star stuff, I still only have the option of 1 or 2.
Right.
I don't have that third option.
Oh, you'll get there. I think it's around... Riker, do you have 3 options yet?
I'm actually upping the refinery now. I still got 9 hours left, so I can.
Oh, that might be it.
tomorrow.
And I still have 3 chips as well, so... I mean, why it thinks that I still need pieces for a new Tala, I'm not sure. But
I think that is so interesting. I don't understand the purpose of getting ship parts for a ship you're never going to build, that you built a long time ago. And
well, I can build like 5 Talas now.
and you have blueprints for them. Like, the only thing that makes sense with that is being able to trade them to a lower level player who really wants to build a ship.
You should be able to scrap them for resources.
When they did the AMA on Reddit, that the developers were working on a way of trading those extra pieces in.
That would be really nice.
Yeah, that would be really nice because I can. Oh, so evidently Fuzzies can build 11 additional envoys. I can. What does it say? I can build. I can build 2 more Fortunates, which I don't know why I'd ever want to do that. I can
actually,
build like,
Tilly, if you build the Fortunates, I actually use those to kind of cheese the ship experience events. 'Cause
Oh,
you only
not
have
a
to
bad
you can build it and then like use like 20 ship points, and it'll get you on the board because not usually everybody applies
That's
for
true.
this. You
I
can
can
just kind of squeeze in there.
Like,
Don't tell everybody that secret.
Well, it's only going to be us and the 3 people watching on YouTube, so we're good.
Oh my god.
Let's see, I got 3 envoys, and I have enough blueprints to build another 30. Yeah.
I was so excited that like 3 events ago, I finally, because I remember you talking to you guys about this, about how much I wanted that last like 2 pieces to build my 3rd envoy. And it took me forever. And now I get envoy pieces literally multiple times a day, every day.
Well, I think in that last elite, the Klingon event, I was getting probably 10 of them a day. It was like ridiculous the amount of drops I was getting.
Yeah, but still, it's the favorite thing is it wants me to build more towers. I don't know why.
Well, get the building the Talas then.
Alright, so if you guys take a look at the screen, I am so sick of this. Like, I don't know what happened, but somewhere in the game with the developers, they're like...
Oh, that's happening too? Good. It's not just me.
They're like, oh, hey, you know, a big part of this game, like 90%, 99% of it, is base rating. Let's screw up and bug the way people can actually scan for resources. It sounds like a really cool idea. Please fix this immediately. This is part of the reason I have not rated for so long. I mean, if you take a look at the resources as well, this person is drained and may or may not be playing anymore. But if you take a look at this base, let's see, their ships are in and they are struggling because they got 50,000 tritanium. Somebody's...
Fuzzies, why do you want more Rialtas? You want
Alright, so...
I want a Rialta too, so I can take it out. So I can use it for something other than just knocking on people's faces. See for home.
That would be nice. He makes a good point. He said, I want them to only show the resources you can raid.
I said that earlier.
The Rialta is one of the best ships in the game. I'm going to tell you why. But you only need one. You definitely do not need more than 11.
I need 37 Rialtas, no less.
They are really great. So if your station is parked in a system that you're hostile in, like I'm in Klingon space, they hate my guts, like hugely.
Mine too.
If you want to mine in that Klingon space, you put your ship on that mine, an interceptor will come in, pop out your Rialta to run into it, and that ship goes away forever and ever. Doesn't come back.
And no more ships take their place?
No more ships take their place.
Oh, it sounds like the augment phase thing
I
that we
would,
do.
I would
Yep.
think the Klingons wouldn't give up after just, oh, they blew up one ship.
Yep.
That
You know.
augment- that
These are the
augment-
lazy fat Klingons.
that trick with that trick for mining an augment space all faction.
Yeah, these are not the Klingons who have read Shakespeare in its original form,
Right.
which is Klingon.
These are not
these
the
are
Klingons you're looking for.
Right. They're like, oh, okay, you know, I guess they fought honorably. I guess. Whatever. I have some goth he's eating.
They like
Today is a
these
good
are
day
the these are the Klingons who like to wear hoodies to work.
Klingons with hoodies.
You know Klingons?
The Klingons with the man buns.
Exactly.
Oh god! Oh my god!
Oh, get out of here, Ducat.
Oh man.
So if,
Because now
That's it.
I'm
I
hipster
vote-
Klingons.
I vote Ducat gets out of here.
so if you guys see, I scanned all the stations in Daska that are worth rating. There's no resources, and this is pretty much similar across the board. And I can almost guarantee you that the stations that are bubbled, well, that one shouldn't be bubbled. He has nothing to steal.
You don't know that he could have nice furniture.
that is very true. Well, either does he. And
do
so
they
this
have the
guy,
Starbucks
this
on
guy has
photos?
142,000 dilithium. There is a reason for him to be bubbled, but unfortunately, he's bubbled, so no pirates can come by and visit.
So if the Klingons have man buns, do they have Starbucks on?
It is practice because this has happened, and I think Scopely has stopped refunding resources for when you bubble to have one of your fellow Alliance members double check to make sure your bubble is actually there.
Yes, and that was something that was really unfortunate because we had so many people with failed bubbles, and I don't know what happened with that, but I don't think every single person who claimed that their shield was bugged and was supposed to be on was lying.
So that happened to me.
Thanks for saving me the time of scanning Doska.
Go ahead.
That happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I had the counter wasn't showing my shield up, but if I looked at the screen showed my shield.
Hmm.
And
Mine
I had
doesn't. After the shield expires, if you look at the outside of your station, it still shows it bubble.
yes, yeah, that happens to me all the time. It's very
Oh.
misleading. If you
So-
look quick,
So Crow had a really good point, and I really like this idea a lot, Crow. He said, so Crow says, I want them to show only the resources that are rateable. So
I said that.
apparently Riker said it too, but I never heard it before, or maybe I was ignoring him.
You were ignoring me as per usual.
But I think that's a really good point. There's really no purpose in showing resources that you can't get. And,
exactly.
And it's the best way to quickly look at stations to quickly figure out what you can get. And me being me and testing this out, I tested out to see if, like, Chev could steal below vaults, and he can't. He definitely can't steal more trit than that. And Crow wants me to show something, but I'm not going to show it because I don't trust him.
Womp womp.
At next level 19, what should I focus on for 20? I'm just hoarding materials right now. If I remember correctly, I think you needed like a crap ton of ore to get to 20. I remember the leap from 19 to 20 being...
It was the uncommons. The uncommons were the death of me.
Yes.
But once after you go from 19 to 20, it turns over the G3 mats.
Yes.
You don't hardly see G2. There's really no point in hoarding G2 mats at 19 once you pass 19.
Right, but yeah, I remember it took me, I had everything I needed, the proper amount of payment, even though the Federation doesn't use money anymore.
We don't believe in money.
We don't.
Gobley does.
Well, Scopely is probably run by a bunch of Ferengi. Anyway.
That's a really sweet way of putting it. So no one shall. He says for level 29, man, you're broke. So I'm broke
He's
based
not wrong.
on the resources you can see. I'm hiding a lot more resources than that. But for me to really do anything, me and Bundy feel the same way. Whatever we have in tokens, that's not spendable money. That's for when we're really in trouble.
Yeah.
And
I do the same thing. I have a couple tokens that I'm hanging on to for like absolute last resort reasons. Also because if God forbid your bubble falls and like I play while I'm at work too, so if somebody shows up at my desk to talk to me and my bubble expires and I'm talking to somebody and I get popped, they can't take the 1 million crit token I might have. They can only take the 20k trit that I might have
Right.
at the time.
so that's another thing. If you have tokens, and this goes to the same thing for faction units, make sure they're not your go-to. Make sure they're your super saver account that you never plan on spending. Okay. I think somebody's playing something in the background. So, and then Butterlight says, was searching on the official Discord, and the moderators have explained that additional refinery batches just give more rolls, but chance per roll doesn't change. So that's also a really good statement. And he mentions Captain Epictetus. Captain Epictetus, he knows his stuff. All right, I need someone to mute their mic. Captain Epictetus knows his stuff really well. I shared that crew setup tool that he had created himself. And Tilly, this is the tool that he created that I shared with you.
The other day. Oh, that one was amazing.
Yes, it's a really great spreadsheet. Really breaks down the basics of crew for you to get to the point where you can start to play with different crew setups yourself. But really gets people in the right place when it comes to crew. So I definitely recommend you check that out. Other than that, let's see here. So here are my plans. Is I am planning on buying a Saladin because I'm super duper close to it. A crow said, "Whoa, wait! Share with the class. Share what with the class?"
I think the spreadsheet.
Okay, so I will make sure. Actually, let me go into the video and
Google Docs.
Pull that link out. Hopefully, this doesn't start playing. Don't play that video.
Yeah, pull that link out.
Alright, so let me put this in chat.
Hello.
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 Alright.
And it's really worth mentioning too what a game for right.
Discord that, dang it.
What was that, Bundy?
It's really worth mentioning what a game and how important they are. Like, even during the hostile event, lost a little bit, having the right crew, you can go that much further and you can earn more points, ship lasts a bit longer. Having the right crew, the right situation makes such a difference.
And it really does. Like, if you're looking for a way to conserve your resources because you still want to engage in the event, but you know you're getting low in resources, you're not sure how much you're going to be able to do. I can't stress to you guys enough the crew setup that is needed. A crew like Chen, Gala, and Chev, when you're hunting NPCs, is going to save you so much in resources because you can hit so much more. The same thing with upgrading certain crew members like Vela. I'm going to go off on a limb and say it's Vela. Vela, if you tier him up high enough, he can extend the hull on a battleship 50%. So imagine being able to do 50% more damage. Of course, your repair costs are going to be a little bit high, but start to think about it a little bit differently. What I would tell you is whenever you're hunting NPCs, do not rely on Kirk, Gorkin, or the Nero setups. Those are meant for player versus player for the most part. The NPC crews you want to run would be either Chen, and a backup. You can use one of those three, or you can use some of the other cadets. There's some things you can play around with in there. And let's see. Oh, Sean asks, how do you approach fixing faction rep? I don't want to just farm NPCs. Well, I have good news and bad news for that, but I'm going to ask the person who's done it, who's on voice comms, and that's Bundy.
He's the one teaching you to do it.
Well, I did the unfortunate mistake at the beginning of the game of not actually listening to the other players, and I got my faction Federation side up through the roof, and I had my Romulans and my Klingon way, way down in the negatives. I worked on it hard to fix the faction side. The first thing I did was I worked very hard to try to bring I decided to go. So I worked very hard as quick as I could to get the Romulans up, with the goal being to get them as balanced as I could and to get them into the positives. Once I did, and I think it took me probably 7 weeks to do it, it became a big game changer. Once you get them both back into the positive, it goes very quickly getting them up during the events. But I can say I massacred a lot of hostiles.
So,
But they also stop shooting at you once you get them into the positive, which is, for lack of a better word, a positive thing.
How did you make out on your first day of doing?
I shot a couple Klingons, and then came to terms with the fact that I'm going to have to shoot some of my own Starfleet people. And as much as it hurt me, I did, and I noticed a huge difference. I probably got the Romulan rep up and the Fed rep down by about 4K, and that was only like 2 trips.
So that's something to take a look at. If you look at my factions right now, my Feds are way too high. I don't like my Feds this high at all. Like, this is because of the last event. They just skyrocketed out of control. And I plan on targeting Feds because I need Saladin blueprints. So I'm going to be hunting those down. I'm going to be hunting level 30 Federation ships. And I want my Romulans to come more in line with my Feds because I kind of want them on even pacing. Because at about 1.5 million Federation rep, my dailies went up to level 33 that I had to hit. And I don't mind doing it, but at the same time, it's costing me so much more than hitting level 32. So that is my plan, and I think Bundy really nailed it on the head, is that... How negative were you again, Bundy?
I think almost 900,000.
900,000. So it took him 7 weeks to get out of that. And Bundy's, to just want to put this out there, he's a huge NPC player. He likes fighting many NPCs. Were you like that before you did that?
Yeah, I started listening to advice. And that was, for me, was also a primary way to get speed ups, resources, and blueprints.
Okay.
Because you save so much, right?
Right. So, I mean, if you want to do it, it's definitely doable. Just know you're going to need to commit to it. And it's going to take some time. Definitely do whatever missions you can find. And if you can't find any more missions, just start shooting NPCs. The problem is definitely going to be managing those repair costs. Make sure you have enough resources. If you don't, find some unwilling stations to borrow your resources.
Permanently borrow.
Permanently borrow. And
leave an IOU.
But here's the benefit of it now. The benefit is, after all that work, and then being in the positive, I'm now sitting at a perfectly balanced factions of Federations 737K and Romulans 737K, and I work very hard to keep them balanced, and they're growing every day.
And that's a really good point. And we also have a player on our team who is positive in every faction. So that is definitely something you can do as well. And he was negative 2 million in that faction, in that third faction. And what he said is that you can go higher in positive than 2 million. But in the hatred part, you can only cap out at 2 million. So he has hit so many NPCs. He was in the 4 million favor of his other factions. And he decided to become positive in all factions. So now he's positive in all factions. So that's a possibility as well. It is just going to take a lot of work to do. So just keep that in mind with wherever you're at right now. But everyone, I think, on this stream can vouch for the fact that 2 factions is so helpful. If nothing else, it is going to help you get your token for the day and clear out the dailies to max those points.
I disagree.
I would definitely ask you to explain that, but I have a feeling you're kidding with me.
Yeah, you would be correct, sir.
So Sean, it is definitely just going to take some time, but if you commit to it, you can definitely fix it.
I ran into that problem with the dailies. I'm in the thick of it now, trying to balance my Romulan standing. I started at negative 457k, and I just looked. I am now down to 165.
Oh, nice.
Well, that's great.
That's awesome.
It's taken a lot of resources and a lot of patience.
Definitely.
Yeah, my
But-
stuff's unbalanced
And-
too. I get my feds up to 533 in consort, but my Romulan's tanked. I'm only 19k positive now. I gotta bring that back up.
And that's
But the good thing is the positive.
yep. That's a balancing act, is choosing which dailies to do and which other ones not to do, to get those balanced back out. But I think Ducat, you also do something very, very special that not a lot of people are aware. You hit faction minors for a reason.
Yes, I hit them because it's a bigger bang for the buck.
I noticed that today.
So
Yes.
faction minors give more favor than traditional warships do. So
Yeah, they give like 1.5 times what a warship would give.
Yes.
Right.
That and they drop 3-star. They drop 3-star parts for the survey.
Yes, but you have to be careful because when I started this endeavor, I was 1.3 million with the Fed,
mhm.
and because I only hit their miners, I am now down to 475k.
Yowza!
Yeah.
But once you get balanced, you can do both those reputation events each day
Yeah.
and complete your dailies, and it'll go quick.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, Benji, you and I had a conversation last night. Well, I'm just, at this point, I'm like, whatever. If it tanks, it tanks.
Yeah, and once I got past the it's going to tank part, and I kind of accepted that, that's when it went good, right? I got them balanced, and off I went.
Yeah.
And I recovered quick.
Your life is about the
So so that just goes to show you that you can definitely get it done, and it is going to be helpful. The other thing too is it really helps with your G3 materials, because you get twice as many from dailies, and it has made me incredibly lazy with mining, to be honest, because I'll be like, oh my god, I gotta go mine some crystal, stupid crystal, because my dailies are ore and gas. I have a lot of it.
Ducat knows all about gas, don't you, Ducat?
And so that is also something that is going to help you a lot. The other thing too, this is a really, really big part now, especially considering the repair speed-ups. You get twice as many repair speed-ups for your dailies when you do the faction dailies for 2 different factions. So if you're ever wondering why so many people have so many speed-ups and can stay in so many events, it's because they're running dual factions and getting twice as many speed-ups as you are.
Yeah, I have like 0 speed ups at this point.
So I get about, I want to say 20 to 30 minute speed-ups a day.
Yeah, that's right.
Because my factions are so high. And so when a lot of people are like, oh my god, how do you get your speed-ups for the events? I buy some, but I think everything I've bought I've burned through. But I replenish a lot of it from my dailies. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
And that's the one good thing about a mining event. When you're out shooting hostiles, you can bank those speed ups when you need them.
It's
Exactly.
assuming you're not being DK'd off the.
Well,
Assuming you're not being DK'd, yeah.
if anyone's watching from another server, they probably have it pretty rough when they try to mine. A lot of people on other servers. The story is you send out a miner, just plan on sending it out again because it's going to get destroyed. Just happens all the time on those other servers. Ours is a little bit different than that. But what I want to show you here is another reason for the dual factions is you take a look. I have 17,400 Federation credits. I need 20,000 to get my Saladin, so I'm about 2,600 away. And for the Romulan, I'm at 7852. But keep in mind, I just bought a Centurion with all of my faction units, so I spent 20,000 on that. This is another big reason you want to run dual factions, is because you're earning the same amount of units per faction. So when it comes to getting a faction ship and you've earned 20,000, you can actually get 2 faction ships for free. So that's how I have a Centurion, and that's how I'm going to be getting a Saladin. So that's...
And I mean, it also helps because I'm at, what am I at? Right now, I am plus 304k with the Feds, negative 159k with the Klingons, and negative 148k with the Romulans. So I'm trying to get my Romulan into the positive. I would like to be able to enter Romulan space without instantly getting shot at. So by putting it back in the positive, like every time I go to explore higher level sections, as I get further warp capability, I have to like sit there and watch the ship, and as soon as it like enters the system, move it to the next system, or I like incinerate instantly.
Well, and also to
Hashtag life goals.
also,
What, to incinerate?
also to speak to that point as well is, you know, those introductory systems where everyone is fighting for ore, everyone's fighting for gas, everyone's fighting for crystal. If you're aligned with those factions, you can be like, okay, peace out, I'm going to go to the upper systems where only people aligned with these factions can go. So there's going to be less competition for those nodes. I mean, and there's more than enough competition for those nodes as it is. You just get a better pick for those factions.
Right. I'm still, I think, capacity is warp 28. So I am very excited to be able to get to 30 because I would like to be able to get to Andoria Prime to finish that one mission I have somewhere. I have one that I've done all except return the prisoner to Sol, and I'm like, that's a level 66 system. See you in like 5 years. But it would be nice to be able to. I'm very jealous of all the people who are like, chill mining and level 40 systems, and we can retreat to level 30 systems to hide. And I'm like, I can't even see those systems because I can't get there.
Hey Tilly, are you checking out the stream?
Oh, come on!
Give it time.
I can get. I've unlocked Calcetti and Pajam and I guess it's Aidi system.
Oh, yeah.
That's like next door, but I can't get to Andoria. Oh, look, it's our pretty little planet complete with its light pollution. Isn't that nice?
It does look pretty dark. I think. Wait, let me check something out. I want to see how realistic this is. So this.
I mean, that's Europe, and then most of what we see is the United States.
Look at how cool this is. The star is shining on the planet, so that planet has daylight. The other half of the planet is darkness, and the moon is behind it. That's actually some really good attention to detail.
I wonder, you'll have to look at it at a different time of day. I wonder if it actually rotates.
Oh yeah, because you can actually make out the continents to see if they move.
Right.
I have to give it to Scopely on this one. That's actually pretty cool. But
Yeah, that's really awesome.
but yeah,
I
it,
would like to
thinking
be
about
able to
this
get
too
there
much.
sometime.
but I will say, yeah, it was fun definitely making it to the Sol system finally, which I did in my, I believe it was in my North Star when I finally got it leveled up.
Right, my North Star I can get to level 28 or warp 28. Maybe 29, but I can't reach warp 30 yet, and it's driving me bonkers.
I take mine straight to ludicrous speed.
So
Right? Like, where's my trans warp capability?
so we're climbing up on an hour here. Is there any final questions for anyone here? Keep in mind, Bundy has the Mayflower, and he has the Saladin. I have the Centurion and the Legionnaire. And then as well as our other players, Tilly,
I've got a
Riker,
Vocus.
and Ducat.
And both of them are guarding my...
Bundy, you know, they call it the Payflower. How is its performance in battle?
I don't mind it. I find it pretty good. It's had an opportunity to take out a couple Sallies. It does pretty good.
You've taken out a Saladin that was, what, 420, and yours was, like, at that time, like, 480, and that had a Gorkin crew setup on it. That was really impressive.
Yeah, and I just made it through. It felt good. That's back in the days when we tried experimenting with the Hive there. I might have screen captured that battle log. So, yeah, it's a great ship. It's very versatile, but it's expensive, right?
Right. So if you guys do see these players in the Scopely Discord, we have Lieutenant Tom Riker, we have Bundy. What's the numbers? 117. We have Ensign Tilly. We have Ducat, just Ducat, or myself, Admiral Jansen, and definitely reach out to them. They're very friendly players. They will definitely answer any kind of questions you may have about anything, and I think
No, I won't.
Riker especially, please just spam him messages.
I hate you so much.
Let me just put a little plug in here. With the dual faction thing, please reach out. I'm happy to help.
Perfect. Other than that, thank you guys so much for joining this stream tonight. I am definitely going to be working on it. I know Sinky is going to be doing some things to the stream. He is basically my technical advisor. He knows this very well. I will be posting some videos about Klingon crew setups very shortly here. The Klingon crew members, if they are bugged, or which Klingon crews work well together. But other than that, you guys take care. Have a great night. Be kind to one another, and I will talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.